Is pain necessary? A question we all ask when life crushes us with suffering, loneliness, heartbreak, or despair. But for Friedrich Nietzsche, pain wasn't just necessary, it was sacred. It was the forge that tempered the soul, the fire through which greatness was born. In a world obsessed with comfort, Nietzsche challenges us with something terrifyingly beautiful. The idea that suffering isn't the enemy, but the path. Part 1. Nietzsche's philosophy of suffering. Nietzsche didn't see suffering as something to be avoided. In fact, he believed it was essential to becoming who you truly are. In his words, one must still have chaos in oneself to be able to give birth to a dancing star. To Nietzsche, suffering wasn't a flaw in existence, it was its foundation. A soul that never suffers never grows. A life without pain, he thought, is a life without depth. Nietzsche saw comfort and ease as the enemies of greatness. He despised mediocrity, conformity, and the safety of the herd. For him, suffering was the only way to awaken the deeper parts of the self. Part 2. The will to power. One of Nietzsche's most powerful concepts is the will to power, the idea that life is not about survival or happiness but about expansion, creation, and transcendence. The will to power is not about dominating others, it's about overcoming yourself, about turning weakness into strength, about using pain as fuel. Nietzsche believed that those who embraced their suffering could transform it into power. He admired figures who faced immense pain and still chose to rise, to become more. Part 3. Love your fate. This brings us to one of his most radical ideas, amor fati, love of fate. Nietzsche didn't just suggest we tolerate suffering, he said we should love it. Imagine looking at the worst moments of your life and saying, yes, this too is mine, and I love it. That's amor fati, he wrote. My formula for greatness in a human being is amor fati, that one wants nothing to be different, not forward, not backward, not in all eternity. To love your fate is to accept everything, even the unbearable, as necessary, as part of the sculpture that is shaping your soul. Part 4. Suffering as a catalyst for greatness. Nietzsche knew suffering intimately. He lived with chronic illness, isolation, and mental collapse. But he turned that pain into insight, into fire. He believed that true greatness is born in struggle, that comfort breeds complacency, while pain breeds evolution. Think of the strongest people you know, the wisest, the most inspiring. Their strength wasn't handed to them. It was carved from agony, from nights spent alone, from dreams that failed, from battles no one else saw. Nietzsche saw these moments not as tragedies but as tests, invitations to rise. Part 5. Beyond Good and Evil. Nietzsche often warned against simplistic ideas of good and evil. Pain isn't evil. Suffering isn't a punishment. Sometimes what hurts the most heals the deepest. He wrote, "To live is to suffer. To survive is to find some meaning in the suffering." This wasn't a call to become passive victims. It was a call to become creators of meaning, of strength, of self. Pain, for Nietzsche, was a crucible, and those who embraced it could emerge transformed, not bitter but brilliant, not broken but reborn. Part 6. The Artist and the Warrior. Nietzsche often compared the path of the philosopher to that of an artist or a warrior. Both face solitude, both wrestle with their demons, and both require immense pain to create something truly lasting. The artist suffers to create beauty. The warrior suffers to forge strength. Nietzsche believed we are all artists and warriors of the soul. In pain, the artist finds inspiration. In struggle, the warrior finds discipline. And through both, the self is carved, refined, and elevated. Part 7. The Eternal Return. Another haunting idea Nietzsche posed was the eternal return, the thought experiment that asks, what if you had to live your exact life over and over again forever? Would you embrace every moment, even the painful ones? Or would that idea terrify you? The eternal return challenges us to live so fully, so honestly, that we could love our fate, every tear, every scar, every fall, as if we had chosen it. Pain becomes meaningful not because it disappears, but because we choose to give it purpose. Part 8. The Birth of the Übermensch. All of Nietzsche's philosophy ultimately points toward one idea, the Übermensch, the overman. The Übermensch is not a perfect being. It is a person who creates their own values, who rises beyond good and evil, and who embraces suffering as fuel for transformation. This is not someone who avoids pain, but one who masters it, who dances with their demons and turns wounds into wisdom. To Nietzsche, the Übermensch is the goal of humanity, and suffering is the path that leads us there. So, is pain necessary? Nietzsche would say, yes. Because without pain, there is no transformation. Without suffering, there is no depth, no greatness, no dancing star. In the end, the beauty of suffering lies in what it reveals, who you really are when everything else is stripped away. Pain will visit us all. The question is, what will we do with it? Will we run or will we rise?